To who?
I feel like it's hard to ignore Tottenham Hotspur.
There we go. Land the plane.
Come on, you Spurs.
17th loss of the season.
That is terrible.
In the league.
And how many games have been played? 32,
all competitions, right? Not under Ange's entire tenure. Just in the Premier League this season. We haven't beaten Wolves in the last 5 times we've played them. Wow.
They got your number.
Bro, they got number. They own us.
Yeah, they do.
Brother, it's crazy where this club is at this point. And it's kind of like you said, bro. It's so hard to actually almost care. Because I almost checked out, I think, at the point when I was smashing glass
on your head,
over my head when we lost to Leicester early. Because at that point, I was like, I can't see us resuscitating this. And for me, Ange, I've been kind of off him for a minute because the way he acts, the way he manages this team, the way he handles his tactics, brother, you look so out of your depth. And the way he's constantly acting like a sensitive, I don't even know, gyal, I want to say, where you're just biting at every fan, biting at every press conference. But the thing is, it's giving it the gimmick that you love us and you've bought in and all of this, and then you're just nibbling and biting, and it's like, no, I want to talk to that fan's dad so I can ask him, well, did your parents really? You're going back and forth with fans about that? Come on. You got bigger things to worry about. We are 15th in the table, bro. I want to talk about society and people's cultural impact. Relax, brother. Get your X and O's right. How about some tactics? How about some in-game changes? How about some tweaks in your system? It just doesn't make sense, honestly, where we're at. And the thing is, I feel like you look at this squad. This squad is not a 15th place squad. No matter what you tell me, under no injury situation, Van der Ven, Romero out, it don't matter. This team should not be 15th. So the fact that they are, I don't even know what to make of this. I don't know how there isn't an announcement coming out that Ange sacked. Because if you're waiting for the Europa League, I promise you're waiting for a false dawn.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. You see that confidence that you have in the Europa League of, Leon will go there. We're 1-1 with Frankfurt. I'm like, hey,
Frankfurt,
Tite is getting that summer move off of the back of these goals with Spurs. You already saw the first one in the first leg. And I'm like, I don't see it in the Europa League because, I'll be honest with you, Solanke, 65 million we paid. I ain't been convinced, brother. I've seen moments, I've seen flashes. In-game play is nice, but we signed you for goals.
Yeah.
I ain't
goals,
seen
brother.
enough. Matthias Tell, nice goal today, but I ain't seen enough since you come on, and there's a 60 million fee attached to that. Like, come on, what are we doing? Brennan Johnson, he's chipped in with a fair bit, but I've always said, for me, not of the caliber if you want to be competing for trophies. Kulusevski's been out injured, who was our best player. Now it's like, I'm looking at this midfield. It's a who's who every week. Bergval's been the one kind of glow.
Had a howler today, though, with that goal. What was going on there?
And this is the crazy thing. It's the same with players like Archie Gray, where you're looking at the youngsters thinking they give me a little bit of hope. And then something goes wrong in like a Europa League game, they'll get sent off or something like that. And you're just like, brother, I've actually given up on this season. And the funny thing is, if we were to bring in a new manager, for example, I can't guarantee that this next year is going to be prosperous. Because on the weekend, we're talking about bringing Vinay. You remember your pal Vinay?
He's coming in.
The ex-CEO coming in as well. I'm like, hold on, the guy who was running them during their worst period, arguably made some of their worst moves that you lot were angry about and why he left the club, is now coming into the arch rivals. How does this fill me with confidence that we're building something?
He doesn't even have to move house, you know that?
Yeah.
It's the same yard.
Still same yard.
Yeah.
It's just catching a different bus. Yeah. I'm like, bro, what's this? So for me, I'm at a loss with this club, honestly.
You know what? I can't lie. It does feel like I'm not saying that there was necessarily some like Spurs, whatever, there, because they never won anything or anything, but it is starting to feel like this might be like, you know how we were saying like Spurs are one of them teams, and it kind of feels like the end of it. I'm not going to lie, because you look at Spurs' teams before when they were them, they had like Kane, world level, you know what I mean? Son,
Kane
very
cracks for years.
Yeah, Son, like very close, like Alderweireld, like there were certain players in their team
even
that
Lloris,
were like,
those kind of players,
Lloris, a World Cup winner. I'm looking at this Spurs team now, and I'm like, it's very average, you know what I mean? So like, sack the manager doesn't mean that all of a sudden, boom, Spurs back in top 6 contention. I don't actually. You look at Villa's team, you look at Newcastle's team.
That's what I was gonna say.
You look at these lot, and you're like, now like, it's not going to be as quick as it was before for Spurs, where, you know, they had Conte or they had Poch, sack him, bring in Conte, he'll finish around the top 4, sack him, Jose will be around. Nah, I don't think when you sack Ange, I think this team is going to be lingering around like them lower spaces.
Even little things like
go on. No.
Even little things like if you sack Ange in the summer, what Premier League manager will want to go to Spurs? So those mid-table clubs like Thomas Frank, Marcus Silva, even Glasner, all those kind of managers, are they going to look at Tottenham and say, I've seen you not really back Ange too tough. You've not given him the plays that he necessarily wants. And it's quite a toxic club.
Yeah.
But the club I'm at, I don't really have to fight for anything. I just have to avoid relegation and just play good football. That's Crystal Palace, that's Brentford, and that's Fulham. Fulham are overachieving this season. They're just happy. Band of misfits, like you say. All the players are enjoying themselves. Glasson, they didn't win one win in like the first 14 games. Crystal Palace didn't really care.
For me, I've said the only one I think we could maybe tempt is Thomas Frank. Because he's been there for like 8 years. He's built them up to a sustainable point. He might be looking for that kind of next step.
Yeah.
And for me, he is almost like the perfect manager. Someone who's tactically flexible, can set a team up to be hard to break down. But then if they need to be the team on the front foot, he can do that as well. But I do agree with that. It's hard to sell to the next young prospect manager who's the up-and-coming one that Spurs normally usually try and grab. You can't do that now because what sales pitch are you going to give to them that you're going to bankroll with them with transfers? You don't do that. You're going to play players' wages and get assigned top players. You don't do that. So for me, it's a case of you're hanging on a lot of youngsters and hoping that they develop into good talent. So you need a good man manager, a coach. And the problem is what you said there as well. A lot of these clubs who are the mid-pack have closed that gap to the top 6, and the guys like us have fallen by the wayside. And I'm like, bro, we're just in this middle ground. I think there's enough talent in there to be mixing with the Villas and Brightons and be Europa League outsiders for the Champions League. But you have to actually get someone who can steer this ship. And I look at Ange and I'm like, you not only can't steer the ship, you're sinking it further. And you're sinking it to levels, bro. Juan de Ramos had us here. Was the last time.
I remember that.
No, and he did not last more than a season.
Yeah.
It's time to go, fella.
Yeah.
And I know they're hoping on that Europa League. You sacked Jose 6 days. A man that is proven winner 6 days before a final. But you're giving this Aussie who's won in Scotland only.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You know, 17 losses is in the league. Like, we might get there, by the way. We've lost 14, by the way. But 17 losses in the league. And I think Southampton have lost 19, is it? Or something like that.
Over half your games.
It's actually insane. And I'm like, listen... Like, I know you play in N17, but that doesn't mean lose 17 games. Yeah, I'm trying to say, like, that's absolutely crazy. And when I was looking at it as well, like, I'm like 17. Bro, that's like 17 is a familiar number.
Bro.
Do you know what 17 represents as well?
What?
17 years since you last won a trophy.
Oh, so it's
17 years.
Yo, you make me
N17?
N17, 17 losses.
Wow.
17 years,
Romero
bro.
17 as well.
Romero 17, he's off soon too.